All right, let's dive right in. This is my video that will talk about the difference between a fabric softener, a scent booster, and the dryer sheets. And then I have this also as this is a color absorber. I'm going to talk about this one as well in the end. This is not going to be a long video. I'm going to put this chart up. Downy does a good job on their website. I'm going to link the website below, but I'm trying to cut the chart. The chart's kind of long. But the chart really explains the difference, or it gives you examples of what one does versus the other. And I personally, if I'm going to advocate any of these, I personally, you may like these, you may have used these for a long time. I don't advocate using fabric softener really much at all, but if you're going to use it very little, I use it very little, and the only things I really use it on is like I have one cover that I use it on, one blanket. But I don't advocate using it, and I'll tell you why in a second. The middle one, the scent boosters, you can use whatever scent booster that you personally like. I know they come in the Downy. They have one. Arm& and Hammer has one. There's these Crystal brand that has one. Whatever one you like. I advocate them out of all of these three. These are the free and gentle one. These are have no fragrance on these, but there are ones that you know that have the other balance that are the regular fresh clothes smell or whatever fragrance. I don't advocate using them either, and let me tell you why. The whole point of dryer sheets, if you look at them, let's talk about these first, is they're supposed to reduce the static in there. And then these don't have a smell or anything, but if you had another version that had smell, they would have a thin layer that'll apply fragrance to your clothes. And some people, and I don't advocate for them, not for the reason because some people are allergic to fragrance, and so the dry sheets will cause them to break out. The reason I don't advocate for them is because they're not necessary. If you ask my brother doesn't even use dryer sheets at all. He's very minimal with that type of stuff, and you don't need them. And a good option instead, you could get for one whole dollar at the dollar store are these two dryer balls. I was tricked, and I got these at Dollar General for $2. Y'all can tell I'm a little cheap. $2. But I'm okay with that. It is what it is, and you can use these forever. Like I throw after 30 washes, I throw them in the washing machine just because with a load of clothes, just to clean them off a little bit, put them back in here, and everything's good to go. And sometimes, if you really, really feel, especially in the midst of the pandemic, that you want to disinfect them, you could do that as well. But the dryer sheets are not necessary. They do their job at mitigating static. And if you're going to use I would recommend Free and Gentle if you're going to use them in general. Always, because you don't know, especially if you're a parent, you have kids. My mother used this for us because I said in a previous video, all of us had sensitive skin and we all are eczema prone. We all had eczema. So she would use these so we don't have problems, but it's not necessary. But I will say this, and I'll probably talk more about it when I get to this. There's a video that I'm gonna link in this one as well of this man. He's a maintenance repair for dryers and washing machines, and he said that he recommend using these over these because of this very reason. He said for top load and front load washers, that clients would complain about there being a bad fragrance because there would be buildup of this. Because sometimes, if you look at your washing machine, a lot of washing machines have segments, whether you have the front load that you have to pull out, or if you have an agitator like ours does, there's the front ring where you pour it into. If you do not clean that on a monthly basis, that thing will get dirty and nasty and it'll smell terrible. And a lot of people don't do it because they don't think to do it. So, and they use too much of it. Like I said in another video, on one capful, but you dilute it 1-to-1 ratio with a cup of water, or a cap full of water, not a cup. A cap full of this and a cap full of water, and then you pour it into wherever you dispense your fabric softener. It'll smell just as nice, and you end up using less, so you don't actually double up and put too much. And you could even use half a capful. You could use half a capful of water, and it'll do the same. But the problem is, it can lead to your dryer and not your dryer, leads to your washer smelling bad. And so because of that reason, and he's talked about, he works on it, it's his job, he works on that. I don't advocate using these. I advocate using scent boosters because these fabric softeners, they do what they say. They soften the fabric. They have chemicals in it that coat your fabric to make it feel softer. Oh Lord, my battery's going low. But this right here, ooh, okay. This right here is the number one thing I advocate because I'm gonna post again that Downy chart that they show their brand, but this applies to all of them. They show their this, and this, and the boosters have. I'm not going to say they have the least amount of ingredients, but their chemicals aren't made to coat it for that softening feeling. They're just supposed to enhance the smell. So if you just want your clothes to smell good, be mindful if it's a fragrance, so you may have an allergy to it. But if you don't, these are the best options out of these three, because this can make your washer smell bad. These aren't necessary. You're really wasting your money paying for these sheets, because you could just use the dryer balls and you do the same thing and reuse them over and over and over again. If you like the smell, more power to you. If you're going to use it anyway, more power to you. I'm just putting this here just to educate you on what your options are and that you don't have to use these because it's not mandatory. Now, one thing I will say before I talk about these is that I really do like the fragrance of this, and that's why I throw it in every now and again. I normally only throw this in with my blanket, that blanket I was talking about. Remember again, like I said in the other video, be mindful of what you can use on what. Do not use fabric softener on moisture wicking garments like workout clothes, compression shorts, compression shirts, compression socks, things of that nature. Maybe your leggings or whatever, for that you do not use this. And you don't use these on towels because they over time reduce the ability for the towel to actually absorb moisture. You don't use fabric softener on towels. Another thing is that for these is your best bet. I wouldn't put these on towels either, but if you have to have the smell, you don't even need a full capful. You only, let me take this off. You see the size of this cap? You ever only need half a capful. I know some of y'all just go crazy and y'all enjoy using a lot. And y'all are adults, so y'all are going to do what you want to do. But you only ever need a half a capful, and it ends up saving you money in the end because you're using less of it. Now, I'm going to talk about this. This is something I saw another college student do not on this specific brand. This is a brand you can get at the dollar store, and they come 12 in a pack. And so what I like to do is you can make this go a long way. Because the first time I used this, I pulled out one full sheet, put it down, and there was a little bit of dye left on it, so it does work. So if you're the type of person that likes to throw in all your clothes and don't separate it, these are a good buy and it's not a waste of money. What I recommend doing is cutting these in half, because let me show you the full sheet. One second, I apologize. I should have prepared this. No, that's not a full sheet. What I actually cut this in smaller increments, but I recommend cutting these in half because let me show you how big it is. Excuse me, I apologize. Here we go. This is the size of it. It's almost longer than a dryer sheet. I think it is longer than a dryer sheet. I cut these into, let me show you how small I cut them in, to fourths. I cut it into fourths. That's not a good cut, but I cut them into fourths and I put them back in the box. Because what I noticed when I used them, that personally a lot didn't go. So a lot of the dye did not go on here is what I'm trying to say. I apologize. So what I would say is when you use these, make sure, I would say for your first time, cut it in half. You use a half. If you see there's not a lot of dye left on it, cut it in four. Save your money. I'm not going to do the math right now. I'll probably put it on the screen where if you cut it in four, how many you will have. But well, that's just 4 times 8. I mean, 4 times 12, which is 48. So you'll have 48 of these instead of just having the 12, and it'll last longer. And this is actually a worthy buy because if you do, like I said. Now, was there something else I was supposed to say? No, I think that's all I had to say because I wanted to do a video comparing these. There are a lot of different brands of fabric softener, a lot of different brands of these, a lot of different brands of these. Like, once again, I'll just say it in this order. If you're going to use them, I would rank using this first for your, if you need a fragrance, using these with fragrance first, and last option using this. But I don't even ever really recommend using fabric softener because it's not necessary. An alternative to fabric softener, you could use a half a cup of white vinegar into your washer, put it in the cycle, and it'll do about the same thing. Regardless of the size of the low, small, medium, large, just a half a cup will do what it needs to do. And yes, I hope you like that. I apologize for all of my videos being very long. I just like being very thorough and very detailed because at the end of the day, you're spending your money on these products and you can end up wasting hundreds of dollars every year. Another thing, don't forget to look for your coupons for these. I paid $5 for this and I shouldn't have because it smells good, but there was a coupon. I just didn't see it. I could have got $2 off and this would have been $3. Look for your coupons for things. This you're probably not going to find a coupon for it because it's $1. But like I said, you cut it in fourths, it's worth it. Thank you so much for your time. If you would like me to do any more of these laundry videos for you, just to help you save a little money in the end and things that actually work, let me know and I'll get on it.